during my coming of age ceremony, when I spoke about overcoming my fear of singing in public. It seems funny to me that here I am, standing in the same place I stood 4 years ago, ready to tell you about another fear of mine. But at the same time, it is in a way comforting. I have been attending this church my entire life, literally. I mean, I first came in my mom's belly, and at 2 months old, I attended church on Halloween Sunday in a red and white candy cane pajama costume. I don't really remember many details about my first 5 or even 10 years of Sunday school. But what I do know is that I love the goldfish, I love the children's choir, I loved lighting candles, and I loved that unlike my friends who attended St. Agnes, I could wear my pajamas if I wanted to. I was a pretty Catholic kid growing up in this church, and something from those early years must have really stuck with me because, well, look at me. I'm a senior in high school, co-leader of the youth group, and terrified of leaving. If you were to ask me right now what my biggest fear is, that is what I would say. Leaving, moving on, a fear of change. I was never one of those kids who would join a basketball team for a week or 2, and then drop it for a drama class, or jump around on various friend groups throughout my 13 years of schooling. I wouldn't say that I have been closed off to new experiences, but I have definitely dedicated the majority of my time and energy to a handful of things that are truly important to me. To name a few, I met Dora Pirelli at the church in my pre-K class, and although sometimes I feel like it couldn't be more different, she remains my best friend to this day. I had studied classical ballet with Mrs. Catelli in the same rented room at the Calvary Church for what will be 14 full years this June. I had attended the Lowest One Conference on Star Island every summer without interruption since I was 3, and I have been a part of this church community my entire life. As I thought about writing this reflection, I realized that I had never really experienced true change. Yes, people have come in and out of my life, and new circumstances have arisen. But even when my mother was diagnosed with MS years ago, or my boyfriend Will entered my life last fall, I always had a core set of familiar things in my life to fall back on. Some things just have never changed. Many of you know this already, but I am currently getting ready for a huge change in the fall. I'm getting on a plane and moving out to Claremont, California to attend my dream school, Pitzer College. I know that it may seem strange that someone as tied to tradition and familiarity as I am would decide to move as far as possible across the country. Sometimes it doesn't make much sense to me either. I fell in love with the school and the Southern California weather, and was overjoyed when I received my acceptance letter. But now it is all starting to sink in. While a large part of me is thrilled and excited, there is still a part of me that is scared to death. Next year, I will not be getting ready to head over to the youth group at this beautiful church on Sundays at 7 o'clock, or be walking through the center of Arlington to get to my Tuesday evening ballet class at 5:45. Thinking about this new life that I'm beginning terrifies me. It truly does. And I feel nauseous thinking about it. However, I had the fortunate opportunity of sharing a 30-minute car ride with my youth group coordinator and friend, Marcy Griffith, earlier this week. I talked her ear off about all my jumbled ideas about this reflection that I had to email to her by Thursday night. It was Wednesday when we were talking. She listened carefully and politely as I blurted out thoughts that I couldn't even fully understand. When I finished, she first off told me, "Annie, I think you're going to be just fine," and then went on to tell me about something she was told when studying abroad in India. Every once in a while, you need to put yourself in a situation where the rug is swept up from underneath you. She said she doesn't remember anything else that she was told on that first tired night in India, but that piece of advice has always stayed with her. For some reason, that statement was comforting to me. Maybe it was because it made me feel like stripping myself of all familiarity was something that I should be doing, and not something that I would regret or feel guilty about. Or maybe just because it created a silly picture in my mind. No matter the reason, Marcy's advice calmed me down. And I hope that now I too can carry that piece of advice with me wherever I go.